Well, once again, it's Cooking with Tanya.
Hi, Ron.
How are we doing today?
Good. Wonderful.
Spring is here.
Spring's here. Sun's out. Doors are open. I'm a happy woman.
I know.
Snow's all melted finally.
The flowers are coming out.
And I have flowers, yes.
That's good.
I planted them a week earlier than you told me to, but I lucked out this
Well, that's
year.
okay. We didn't have our...
No,
we had our Mother's Day little dusting a week ahead. That was about it.
Did we? I didn't have any snow here.
Oh, well.
Last year, remember, it snowed on Memorial Day.
On Memorial Day. Not this year. That was the Mother's Day snow.
Oh, it came
Late.
3 weeks late.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think it's going to happen this year. We're just a couple days from Memorial Day.
Yeah. Okay, what are we doing today?
We're doing, let's see, vanilla cider pork with pears.
Ooh, wow. Vanilla?
Vanilla cider pork with pears.
Wow.
We're using a little pork tenderloin,
Uh-huh.
and this is a pear hard cider. This is actually alcoholic.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
you can use the pear, or you can use the apple hard cider.
Okay.
And you get it in the liquor department, and they have them in 6-packs. So I took one up to the counter and says, "Can I just buy one? Because what am I going to do?"
You don't
with a
drink.
6-pack?"
I know it.
And so she says, "Sure." So they have it at Vaughn's. I don't know if they have it at Stater Brothers, but in the liquor department,
Wow.
they have the apple hard cider and the pear hard cider.
Sure.
And actually, the recipe calls for apple. I just thought it would be interesting to do
To have pear.
To do it with the
Sure.
pear, since we
Now
are
we've got to remind people that when hard cider is cooked or any alcohol is cooked, it
cooks the alcohol
cooks
out.
it out. So it's
Just
good for
leaves the
anything.
flavor.
That's right.
Okay, and we have some pears here. I had a hard time, they're kind of not in season, but you're supposed to use the Bosque pears. They're a little firmer,
Oh, yes.
and I only had 2 Bosque pears, and so then I had to buy a red Bartlett. So it's like
It's okay.
We're making do,
It'll work.
and I just I love pork tenderloin.
Sure.
So I have sliced it, and you don't have to pound it. I pounded it just slightly because I wanted the medallions a little bigger and a little thinner than that.
Yeah, right.
But you don't have to if you don't want to. It depends on how you want it. And this is just 1 pork tenderloin, and it's about a pound. That is 108. So it's just
Right.
right
A little
at
over a pound.
Yeah. So
Well, good.
that's what we're doing. The first thing we're going to do is
So,
right here, and we're
Just
going to
melt that butter.
We're going to melt 4 tablespoons of
I
butter.
always tell people you own a dairy because you use so much
I wish I did.
heavy cream and butter in your
Yeah.
cooking.
I do like my butter and heavy cream,
I know it.
but that's what gives everything flavor.
It sure does.
So we're going to melt this, and then first thing we're going to do is cook the pears.
Oh, good.
And I don't know how that's going to turn out because the Bosques were really firm, not firm at all, and the other one was really firm. So we're just faking this, but you are supposed to cook them until they're like brown,
But not mushy.
but not mushy.
Right.
Because this is all the cooking that's going to happen to the pears. We're going to put them back in at the end, but this is all the cooking that's going to happen
Oh,
to them.
very
so
good.
we're really just kind of browning them.
Sure.
And it's not very good.
Okay, there it is, all melted.
Okay. Now we're just going to put the pears in. I love pears and things. Actually, I like pears better than apples.
Do you really?
Yeah, they cook nicer, and they always cook. Apples sometimes they're still hard. I have a hard time with apples sometimes.
Huh.
So I really like pears. This is probably not the season to be doing this.
What, is this not the season for pears?
No, it's kind of like in the fall.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like when the apples are out. So we're just going to soften these little guys up and heat them up. And
You use a lot of olive oil and butter mix, don't you?
Yeah.
Because olive oil doesn't have really a taste to it.
well, in this case, I just wanted the butter taste. I didn't want the olive oil. I don't think it goes good with the fruit.
No.
So yeah, usually I do about a half and half. I do the olive oil and the butter. And this is a really quick little, you can make this when you come home. It is
Really?
so,
It's another 30-minute meal.
Oh, it's so quick.
So you just want to brown them?
Yep.
About
and
it?
Yeah, and then we're going to take them out and put them back in the bowl, and then we're going to do the pork in here.
Oh, yes.
Real quick. And then we're going to make the sauce.
Now, where does the vanilla come from?
We're going to put vanilla in.
Oh, I see.
At the end.
Oh,
when
I
we're
see.
making the sauce.
Uh-huh.
Now, you can use a vanilla bean, which I wasn't in the mood to spend $6 for a vanilla bean. So we're going to use like a teaspoon of vanilla instead. Vanilla beans are really
Use real
expensive.
vanilla, pure vanilla.
Yeah, yeah. I do, and I use the expensive stuff because it doesn't cook out, and I just like it better. It doesn't have that. Sometimes, you get a cheaper vanilla. It has like an alcohol taste to it or something.
Oh, yes.
And it leaves like a little aftertaste.
Right.
Now, when I go to Mexico, I do buy as big a thing as I can because it's so.
I know it's like $2 a quart
I
or
know,
something.
and I do buy the most expensive one even over there. So it's but it's so much cheaper. Vanilla is really this little bottle is $15.
Really?
So vanilla is expensive, and like I said, the one vanilla bean is I think it's $5.99.
Wow.
So, and I have someone I keep on hand, but they get really hard, really quick. And so when you cut it open, it's hard to get the seeds out because the little shell on it is really hard.
So then you crush it, or do you put it in
No, you got to cut it down the middle and scrape out the beans that are inside, and then you use the outside also. But you really want those beans that are inside, otherwise you kind of wasted your money.
Sure.
Okay.
And then you mix it. You put it in a mixer, or?
No, you just mix it in with whatever you're doing.
Oh, really? I
In
see.
your flour
That's your flavor.
or your butter or whatever you're doing that calls for a vanilla bean.
Right.
Okay.
Ooh, those are looking good.
Yeah, they are browning. And you don't want to leave them in too long because you really don't want them to be mushy.
Right. Pears are fairly soft anyway.
Yeah, they are.
But there is a difference in the pear, in the one that you...
Yeah, that's why that calls for the Bosc pear, because it's a little firmer and it cooks up a little better. The Bartletts are really soft.
Yes.
Now, the red Bartletts aren't quite as soft, but, this is looking good. But it would be hard to, and I didn't plan ahead. I should have planned a little more ahead, because I probably could have gotten some Bosc pears if I had tried a little harder a little earlier. But this morning was a little too late.
Right.
And so you don't find a ripe pear when you go the day of. And I went yesterday and got these 2 Boscs, but there was only like 4 of them there, and they were really, really ripe.
Oh, good.
So, okay, we're going to take these out now. See, they've turned nice and brown. I'm going to take these out and let the other ones cook for a minute longer because it's the one that's not really right. We love pears. Remember that pear thing we did that one time wrapped in the puff pastry with the caramel sauce?
Oh, yes.
Oh, that was so good.
It was.
I didn't make that this year. Sometimes I forget about things. I get so excited I find a new recipe and it's like, I have to have that. I have to try that.
Okay, now you've added a little more
I added
butter.
A little more butter.
And now you're dredging the
pork.
The pork loin.
I have a little salt and pepper in this, and that's all, just flour, salt, and pepper. And this is going to help the sauce at the end thicken up because, of course, it's going to leave a residue of flour here in the pan. And I have to tell you, I get this pork tenderloin. Well, there's 2 things I like about the community market with this pork tenderloin. The fact that he trims it and I don't have to. I mean, it's nice and clean and pink when you get it.
Yeah.
And it's he separates them. Usually it's 2 in a package, and so if you only want to buy one, you can.
Right.
And usually I have to come home and do that myself. Okay, yeah, I know it's a big deal, but it's
sure.
not a big deal. But I just enjoy the fact that he's done that for me. But taking the silver skin off is a big deal to me because I hate doing that.
Oh, wow.
So,
is it hard to take off?
It's not hard. It's just time consuming. And
Consuming.
you have to have the right knife. You have to have a boning knife.
Right.
And it has to be nice and sharp. Otherwise, it just drags through there. You can't have a serrated knife. And
Market, Community Market has wonderful meats out there.
He does, and he makes, and he trims everything nicely. The chicken breasts are incredible.
Uh-huh.
They're just incredible. I used to watch, I liked Barefoot Contessa, so I would watch Barefoot Contessa. She'd open the white paper, and she'd take these nice plump little pink, nice trimmed chicken breasts out, and it's like, where do you get chicken breasts like that? Foster Farms packaged, they don't come out looking like that. I spend a half of an hour trimming them.
Yeah.
And Mark does.
Mark does.
Yeah,
That's
they're
good.
beautiful. He turns them over and takes that thing out in the bag.
Uh-huh.
All that stuff that I don't have to do. And
Wow.
I really, really like that.
Yeah. Okay, now you've turned them over. Now, how long do these cook?
Not long, couple minutes on each
Either
side.
side.
They cook really quickly. And you don't want to cook them too long because you just don't want to dry it out.
Right.
You know, not overcooking things. But you don't want it. It can be pink in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
The old pork thing about happened to be
Quite.
yeah, it can be pink in the middle because it's reached the proper temperature and still be pink.
Uh-huh.
And that makes it a little juicier.
Oh, sure.
Now, if that bothers you, cook it longer. You know,
Yeah.
at the end, we're not going to put this back for very long. We're just going to put it back kind of to heat it up in the sauce. But, you know, if you have a problem with the pink thing, then by all means, cook it longer.
Actually, you have 8 pieces there, so you could feed 3 or 4.
Well,
Probably 3, huh?
yeah, I think 4 would be stretching it because it was only a pound. Doesn't shrink, but that's still only 4 ounces a person.
Oh, yeah,
And
right.
I always serve more than 4 ounces a person.
Yeah, they
now,
need about
there's
7.
people, you know, some people don't. But for me and my husband, we would eat all this.
Sure.
And, you know, it depends, of course, what else you have. If I had macaroni and cheese with it, we wouldn't eat 4 pieces.
Right.
But I probably would put maybe some wild rice with it or some just plain white rice. Because I like things that have sauces because I use the sauce over the pasta or the rice or the whatever. So
Just about done.
just about.
Okay, they've been cooking about 3 or 4 minutes on the side, huh?
Yeah, probably about 5 minutes total, huh?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Now we have. Now we're going to pour this in here.
Now, what is that?
This is 1 cup of chicken broth.
Okay.
This is going to be 1 cup of this cider.
Wow.
I have no idea what this tastes like, and truly I don't have a desire to find out because I think it tastes kind of like beer, and I don't like beer.
Right.
And then we have 1/3 of whipping cream.
Oh, okay.
And now we're going to let that come to a boil.
Now, it had enough flour left that it'll thicken?
It should thicken up a little bit. And we're gonna reduce this by half.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to cook the alcohol out of the cider, and it'll thicken up. And of course, you know, anytime you reduce something, you're concentrating the flavors. So
Really, I didn't know that. So the flavors get stronger or tastier.
they get stronger as you as you reduce things.
Oh, right.
That's why you have reductions to make because it would be just easier to put less ingredients.
Right.
You know, okay, instead of a cup, put a half a cup, and you end up with the same amount, but the whole point is to reduce it to concentrate the flavors.
I see.
So it gives it, and of course now we're picking up all those little brown bits.
Which is good, tasty.
That's where the flavor is. And of course there's the flour left a residue in there, so that really will probably thicken it a little bit.
Right.
It's not going to be like a gravy, it's going to be more like a sauce.
Okay.
And we're just going to let this reduce, probably take about 5 minutes. We're going to,
Okay, the vanilla comes next in, huh?
yeah, you bring it to a boil and then you put some vanilla in
Just
it.
one?
I'm just going to put 1 teaspoon. I think that would be equivalent to a 1 vanilla bean.
Okay, yeah, good. Okay, we got it reduced down half.
Yeah, and nice and
Yeah, and it
it's
is a
thickened up.
sauce,
Yeah,
huh?
it's a
Thicken up a
sauce.
little bit.
Yeah, and we're going to put the pears back in. Now, if you were doing this to eat right now, you know, you're just putting the pears back in, not to cook or anything, just to heat.
Uh-huh.
And see, that sauce would be really, really nice over over some rice.
Yes.
It's a sweet sauce. And we're going to put that back in.
Oh, that's looking so good.
And see, this wouldn't take a half of an hour
Right.
when you come home from work, and you have a nice meal, opposed to throwing a frozen food or something like that into the microwave. And it probably, like I said, it's probably only for 2 people. You can make it for more. You know, get another pork tenderloin. If there's 4 of you, you know, just
Sure.
we like pork tenderloin.
I know you
Really,
use a lot.
We do. So
That's
eating
your-
8 ounces of it is not a big deal for us. Now, some people would only serve 4 ounces. If you have little children, they'd probably only eat 1 piece.
Right.
So, and so there it is.
It is beautiful.
Vanilla cider pork and pears. That's almost a tongue twister,
I
isn't
know.
it?
Vanilla, cider,
Pork and pears.
pork, and pears.
Uh-huh.
Wow. And then what side dishes would you use?
Well, I would do rice.
Rice, okay.
I guess you could do noodles.
Uh-huh.
You could do potatoes. You could do anything you wanted. But I like things that, when I have sauces like this, that will go into the side dish, so it brings the flavor of that
Sure.
into the second dish on the plate.
Now, could you thicken it up a little bit more to have it? Would it be
Yeah,
okay like
sure.
a gravy, or?
Sure, if you want to do a little roux
Uh-huh.
at the
Now, tell people what roux is. Just 2 things.
yeah, maybe 2 tablespoons of butter and 2 tablespoons of flour. I always put it in the microwave and melt
The butter, right.
so that and then I mix it all up. And yeah, before you put this back in,
Right.
if you wanted it more like a gravy. Now, don't forget, this is sweet.
That's right.
So maybe you'd give it a taste before you would do that.
Sure.
But make it, when you mix the flour with the butter, that keeps it from having lumps. You know, if you just poured some flour in there, you'd just have a mess, a
Right.
lumpy mess. And so the roux would keep it nice
Good.
and smooth, and it will add a pretty sheen to it. A lot of people just put a piece of butter at the end of everything just to put a
Yes,
sheen
it
on
does. Yes.
So
Once again, another quick, easy meal, not too expensive, and very gourmet-like.
kind of.
It is.
Okay.
Okay, thanks so much.
Thanks, Ron.
Bon appetit to you and everybody else.
Okay, and thanks. We'll see you next time.
Okay.